Starting your episode with a visual roll commercials metaphor in your episode title cliche. Also, that's right, we'll continue totaling up the sins as Sin-Won, because there's no better way to prove math sucks than by doing lots of math. Plus, the current conversion rate is 1,166.6. The episode title is Hell. So it's clear we're all doing the devil's work today. I don't know if it's their garish color scheme, the whimsical music that accompanies them, or their generally nonchalant attitude towards death, but these guys always remind me of Willy Wonka's Oompa Loompas, and suddenly this whole operation makes a lot more sense to me. This is a moody shot and all, but you're telling me that not one of these remaining participants would still be screaming or crying or pacing around searching for an escape? Even if they were in shock, wouldn't it be more comfortable to be in shock in your bunk? But no, someone was like, hey, we've got all these beds and this is a giant room, but let's all huddle silently sitting on the floor together for maximum downer vibes. Cool?
Samu, you helped me, thank you.
No, he did not. What he did was call your name, which made you turn your head, which should have resulted in your death. Although with this show, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the idea all along. We covered this last time, but it bears mentioning again. This English dub is terrible, and it doesn't even need to be. There's a huge community of fantastic voice artists out there. You think long and hard about that while we convert your 20 TV sins into Sin-Won.
I still need to name my child, sir.
Procrastination. Also, does it make anyone else uncomfortable that out of the group of 200 or so people, most of which appear to be men, that the first 3 to beg for their life are all women? I'm just saying I'd have demolished everyone in that room if a grovel contest was the game. Reinforced gender stereotypes be damned.
There seems to be a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding of the situation would have required the participants to have had said situation fully explained to them in the first place. Yes, the rules of the game and the cash prize at the end of it were all explained, but there was also the very salient omission of being f***ing murdered if you fail. Why isn't that in the contract?
If you just follow the rules, you can leave this place safely, with the prize money we promised.
Well, that's a lie. In future games, you also have to win. You could absolutely follow the rules and still be killed. And sure, lying to them might make sense, but in a show that seems to be saying the goal is about order and rules and legitimate contracts, these kinds of blatant falsifications stand out.
Consent form clause 3. If all of the players agree to stop playing, the games are allowed to end. Or am I wrong?
The contract we saw in episode 1 consisted of 3 very basic clauses, and yet Sang-woo is presenting this clause 3 revelation as if he's discovered some fundamental loophole in the Magna Carta. Also, this piggy bank's on for 35 seconds. Damn, could they not have used larger denominations? Also, the piggy bank makes for a nice motivational visual, but unless they actually intend on sending the winner out with 45.6 billion won and a few dozen briefcases, what's the point? Having the cash physically there is a huge security risk, be they on a deserted island or not. And it appears the pig nostrils are open. You never leave the pig nostrils open. Amateurs.
If you wish to continue playing, press the green button with an O. If you wish to stop playing, then please press the red button with the X instead.
Hold menus.
If we stop right now, that only helps the ones who are dead. They get 100 million won and not us.
Arguments that you think sound really convincing, but simply expose you as the insensitive and immoral squid that you really are.
We will not condone any kind of act that impedes this democratic process.
Therefore, any acts we do condone are by default promoting the democratic process. Oink.
It seems we're down to the last vote.
Because of course it came down to the last f***ing vote. Which means that they were either all deliberately keeping it 50-50 because none of them wanted to fully commit to either option, or it's down to dumb luck that they just happened to be split right down the middle. What would have happened if there were an even number of players left? Also, why wasn't this voting and the accompanying vote counter anonymous? Surely being able to see the result in real time has the potential to skew the final result? Come on, guys, it can't be that hard to implement a fair voting system that everyone agrees with. Oh, look, there's the form of a stick figure playing what appears to be tug of war. I'm sure that must mean something, and in a group this size, someone will explore the room enough to find it, and it will result in all sorts of discoveries. Can't wait for that to happen.
The doctor said there's a lump inside of here, growing every day. Brain tumor.
Unnecessary flashback expositional reminders.
If the majority of you wish to participate again, then we will resume the game.
But how exactly? You send 201 people back out into the world and then you just wait for 101 of them to give you a call from the card? Do you assume those that voted to stay will always want to come back, so you just need one person to call? What if a stay vote finds love and stability outside the game? Can they change their vote in the same way someone who wanted to leave can? What if they lose the card? Change their phone number? How do they track them? This is a fun little twist, but the details on how, when, and why you would get all these people back are vague at best and impossible at worst. but also the choice to put the games on pause and send them back to their lives may be the most brilliant part of this entire show's structure. It allows us to see the driving concept of the games and then releases us to not only feel more of the backstories, but truly understand the similarity of their real-life existence to the game itself. It solidifies the metaphor in such a real way that I can't help but take off a couple Sinwon for the choice.
Hurry up now. Oh, that hurts. Hey, stop. Come on, it's my turn now.
Dialogue of my sex tape?
I swear I'll forget the whole thing.
How can I trust you?
I swear on my own mother, okay?
This works. And yes, we mean it both ways. Gi-hun's money boner is apparently so strong it wouldn't even wait to allow him to untie his feet so that he wouldn't have to haplessly and hopelessly hop at the pickpocket. Mondays.
You've got to realize what a massive deal all this was. I know it sounds crazy.
It seems like the show wants us to believe the police never get involved because of how ridiculous the whole story sounds. But there are 201 people who just left this game, at least 100 of which were itching to get out of there. They all have cards, they all have eyewitness accounts, they might even be able to describe some of those who were killed. I'm just saying hiding this game is probably a bit more complex than no one will believe you.
So you're saying that your kidnappers rounded up hundreds of people and had them play a game, then went out there and shot the ones who lost?
Previously on Squid Game.
Then give us the killer's description.
They all had these masks on the whole time we were there.
Or you could just describe the guy at the subway station who definitely wasn't wearing a mask and is probably still out there recruiting people. But no, apparently the show thinks it's more entertaining for the police to believe Gi-hun is an idiot, so play the part of the idiot he shall.
Here's their number. It's on a business card. Call it and see what they say.
The one piece of physical evidence that Gi-hun has, and he's waited until after he's explained everything in the vaguest way possible, and all the cops think he's actually insane before he decides to share it. This lidless container and its potential keyboard-ruining contents.
Sangwoo.
It is by no means impossible, but it sure is lucky Gi-hun swings by here right as Sang-woo is spying on his mother. Dumb luck when you can't be bothered to write something convincing.
You haven't been home in days now, out doing whatever it is you're doing lately, but now you're a good son, huh?
Gi-hun's mom would be Inspector Royale at TV Sins.
Remember, you ended it and used up all the cash we had.
Exposition-induced amnesia is just the worst for everyone.
I'm a police officer, have you forgotten that?
Is he asking his mom or us? Sorry, sometimes I can't tell with how often the show feels the need to remind us of obvious things we already know. Well, isn't this the most convenient episode of conveniences or what? Jun-ho just happens to be at the front desk of the police station at the perfect time to notice the Squid Game business card being on show so that he'd have a lead later on when he finds the same business card in his brother's apartment. You just couldn't write this stuff.
Was he drunk?
Some crazy hobo guy. Everything's crazy around here today.
Unnecessary repeat sins about unnecessary flashback expositional reminders. Abandoning an occupied stroller. Someone call Teddy Bear Protective Services.
Let me think about it. Something like sang or sung or
Sung Gi-hun.
And how about getting me his address too?
Gi-hun's name is causing all sorts of issues, but his address? No f***ing problem. Let me just pull it up on my database. I think I have it filed under moving the plot along. It would be amazing if these episode 2 moments for the characters foreshadowed something for them later in the show. I'd take a Sinwon off for that for sure. Oh well, probably not. I imagine getting that to work would be too much of a pain in the neck.
You pull anything on me, I'll rip your fucking throat wide open and that's that.
I'm not sure how effective a throat ripping will be on a man who can clearly take third-degree burns to 100% of his face as if it were nothing more than a caffeine-enriched facial pack. How the f*** does she keep doing that? In this shot, the pocket is completely intact and the camera doesn't move from her the entire time she has him at knife point. Yet now the pocket has been sliced open and the contents presumably lifted. Is she hiding 6 extra arms? Is she this game's actual squid? Squid meme.
I'm afraid that Mr. Cho Sang-woo has a warrant out for his arrest.
These asshole police officers burst into Sang-woo's mother's business while she's in mid-transaction to accuse her son of embezzlement and fraud. I'm sure they're desperate to find him, but could they not have just waited 60 seconds for her to finish up instead of embarrassing her in front of this customer? Misunderstanding the term bathing suit.
Who is it?
Why did the person at the door ring the doorbell for all this time if they're just going to slip the note under the door anyway? Why not just ring the bell a few times, slip the card under it, and leave so that I didn't have to be triggered by the feeling of walking around soaking wet while fully clothed? Wait, so everyone's just getting one of these new cards? And they all just show back up? Not a single one of these calamari competitors found something better in life than going back to the place that might brutally murder them? Sure, I sinned it already once, but if the show's going to keep complicating this catch and release and then catch again program, I'm going to keep on sinning it.
I'll continue my chauffeuring and come help around here.
This line doesn't lead to a Parasite Squid Game connected universe. Connected universes are the only true entertainment, damn it.
Coming out to someone's nice pub and smoking outside's rude.
Citation needed.
What are the odds you're here at the same time as me?
What are the odds, right?
This is like the 5th time these two have exclaimed how crazy it is that they're meeting like this, so I'd put the odds at show uses the only random meeting that is intentional to pound home the convenience because it makes them look better later to 1.
Something about Friday nights always brings out the weirdos.
That's Friday nightist. Parking in a driving lane on a bridge.
Hey, look here, you jerk.
Oh yeah? Well, a jerk is a tug, and a tug is a boat, and a boat floats on water, and water is nature, and nature is beautiful, so thank you. What? I just figured if the show is going with grade school insults, I should go with grade school comeback sins.
And now you're gonna die, you f***ing asshole.
In the future, sir, may I recommend exiting the vehicle of the former gang boss who you've just admitted to betraying before prematurely celebrating harder than a 10-year-old who doesn't realize that the T-Rex shape present under the tree is actually a giraffe. They're not the same, Mom, okay? It would be amazing if these episode 2 moments for the characters foreshadowed something for them later in the show. I'd take a Sinwan off for that for sure. Oh well, I imagine the show will cross that bridge when it comes to it.
You know, I watched that guy die with my own eyes. But no hospital, though. He couldn't go. Honey, we're home.
Judging by this entry, the stepdad and kids somehow apparently didn't hear any of this borderline skip-worthy ruckus. Gulf.
Wait.
It seems that Gi-hun's ex-wife not only managed to explain the situation with his mother, but also managed to convince the stepdad to pull out the equivalent of $2,000, put it in an envelope, while still leaving enough time to catch up to Gi-hun before he'd barely made it 20 steps out of the building. That's some unbelievable efficiency. I mean it. It's literally unbelievable.
Do you think money solves everything?
Dad, why?
You know, it's not helped by the already mentioned terrible dub, but even without it, this show really does teeter into melodrama at times. Maybe they should have named the show Battle Royale with Cheese. Instead of slipping it under the door like they did at Sang-woo's place, the Squid Game assholes decide to leave Gi-hun's invite sticking out of the door where it can easily get lost or ruined by the weather. Quality my ass. Cool. We now know why these 6 all decided to willingly re-enter the Gi-hunger games. Only 95 more backstories to go for it all to make sense. Sybok doesn't understand how knockout gas works, and yet, this f***ing works.
By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
I'm getting better!
No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment. All right, as you wish.
That day, she was amazed to discover that when he was saying as you wish, what he meant was, I love you.
Over the hills and far away, Teletubbies come to play.
Cut me loose! Cut me the hell! Come on, get me out of here! Come on, get me out of here! Cut me loose, damn it!
Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.